Welcome to another episode of Prioritize. They accomplish while you drown in lists. It's difficult to juggle your responsibilities. Husband, father, brother. It goes on, but your energy doesn't.
You pondering what I'm pondering?
Prioritize what's right for you, not what's left behind. This is Prioritize with Toby Baker.
You'll have to speak up. I'm wearing a towel.
Greetings, gentlemen and ladies. This is Prioritize. Here we discuss prioritizing faith, family, relationships, and a little bit more than that. Sometimes nowhere near that, but we do our best here, right? I am your crazy white, formerly fat host, the Baker Boy himself. Welcome to the show. Glad you downloaded. Glad you decided to press that little play button. Back in the day, we had these cassette recorders, and they had actual buttons on it. And you would have to press down or in with the quickness. You'd have to press, our muscles were built by pressing down these buttons that were play and rewind. Oh, gone are those days, right? Now you just tap your phone and boop, we're playing, boop, we're stopped, boop, deleted. Don't press that one. Don't do it. Don't you press that button, right? I mean, you don't need to press the delete button. Just give it the chance, okay?
Don't you press button. I'm warning you.
Hey, so what would you do if they would press the button?
Why you have to ask?
I'm just curious.
I would take them out, shoot them, and bury them in days.
No. Okay, never mind. Forget I asked. Here we go. My wife sets her alarm for 4:30 in the morning. Now, I'm fairly certain there is no such thing. There's no such thing as a 4:30 in the morning or a 2 a.m. It doesn't exist, okay? Why do I know this? Because of experience, folks. I'm glad you asked, because that's where I'm headed. It's like we're on the same page already, right? I go to sleep sometime before 10:30 p.m., and then the next thing I know, it's 4:50 a.m. in the morning. That's it. There's nothing before that. There's no in between. We just go from 10 p.m. to 4:50 a.m. And then I get up. Suddenly, she's already up. I don't know how she does it, but she's up. She's around. She's got a cup of tea. I fix an espresso. We share some time together, and then she's off. And then there stands this beautiful piece of equipment. Now, I used to loathe this. I'm not going to lie to you. It used to make fun of me. And it didn't really even have to say anything. It was just there. Like, what are you going to skip me again, fat man? Like, man, one day you're going to get so used you don't even know it. I finally wake up and I make the decision, we're going to be using this. We're going to get it. We're going to use this, right? And I think that's where the power in a lot of your choices come in, is the decision. You're deciding to do this thing, good or bad. You are deciding to be a husband to your wife. You're deciding to be a father to your children. You are deciding to be an encouraging friend. Well, that day came when I was deciding to get on the elliptical. And you got to prepare, right? It's like that saying that the body in motion is like 50% there, something like that. Anyway, when you already have the tennis shoes out, you got the socks out, you got the shorts out, you got the sweatshirt out, and then you slide into that, it's that much closer to actually getting on the treadmill, to going to the gym, or in this case, getting on our elliptical, which we have right there at the house. Saves me a little bit greens fees at the gym. So we both decided we got this thing. It's a beautiful thing. Love the piece of equipment. It's better on my knees because I'm not getting up in age, but I'm not 20 years old anymore. I'm not 15 years old anymore, where I can just run all day and then, at the end I'm just fine. No, I have to. It's easier for me if it's easier on the knees. Can you relate to these things that I'm telling you? I like a good pair of tennis shoes. Gives me a little cushion. That way I'm not replacing my knees in a couple of years. I don't even know what you would replace them with. Like, I hear about people replacing their knees, and I'm thinking to myself, well, what do you replace them with? Ice cream bars? Nah, it doesn't make any sense. People never do that. I do find it that much easier to move in that direction when I'm already dressed, and it's not another hurdle. It's like I'm still in my pajamas. I get downstairs, I'm like, I got to go back upstairs to the bedroom and switch over to my exercise gear, and then I'm already in the gear. Slide the shoes on, boom, it's right there. I'm removing these excuses that we constantly put in front of ourselves. Do we not? folks, do we not put these obstacles? Well, I got to go all the, I can. It's so early in the morning. You know, other people can get up in the morning. Maybe that's not your magical time. That's okay. But I do believe it sets the tone for the rest of the day. And I'm not alone on this. When you get up early in the morning, you are starting your day with purpose, right? You ever heard that from Will Smith? And I know I mentioned a name that should not be mentioned right now, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm a rule breaker and that's what I do.
Ha! In your face, society.
Right? Thank you. So Will Smith, back in that movie Hitch. John, wasn't it Hit? It was Hitch. And he says, begin your day as if it were on purpose. That's what I want to do. I want to begin my day like I'm starting it on purpose, not by accident. So I'm in my exercise gear and I'm getting on there. And I was watching, I have an iPad on there and I'm watching through that fantastic spy movie Blacklist with James Spader. I got it. Maybe it's not a spy movie, but there's a lot of spying going on. Espionage, and this guy's a smart criminal, and he's got contacts all over the world, and he took a storage container and made it into a living room on top of a ship in the middle of, what was it, the Atlantic, the Pacific, I don't know. But he opens up the door with the secret lever, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. And then we canceled the Netflix because I'm like, guys, we can't have Netflix and Hulu and Amazon Prime and Disney Plus and Paramount. We got to narrow this down, okay? We don't need to be spending $50, $75. It's probably not that much, but we don't need that much entertainment in our lives. Let's pick, one, maybe two. So we opted for the Paramount Plus because it has the Twilight Zone. Such a good show. Not the new one, okay? Don't hurt me. Not the new one. I'm talking about the original with Rod Serling back in the 1950s and 60s. I mentioned this program to my mom because I'm like, hey, did you see the Twilight Zone when you were... Oh, I hate that show. It never finishes an episode. It always leaves you hanging. That one and that Alfred Hitchcock character, can't stand them. Are we even this? Did I grow up in the same household? Are you kidding me? She doesn't like it. How do you not like the Twilight Zone? Anyway, my wife and I, we really enjoyed that. Years ago, we'd sit on the couch. It'd be like the last thing we watched before bed. We'd get a little half hour on a black and white program with Rod Serling with really good monologue and just a good story that's told without all the special effects and green screens and CG and all that stuff that can sometimes get in the way of a really good program. I don't need an hour solid of action. I remember watching the movie Man of Steel, and my dad and I, we went and watched Man of Steel starring Henry Cavill and Cavill? I'm going to say Cavill. Anyway, this one was from Zack Snyder and Christopher Nolan. They did, Nolan did the Dark Knight series. We're like, God, this is going to be good. It was like 45 minutes of solid busting through buildings. And, after 10, 15 minutes, you get the hint, right? Like, okay, I got it. So neither one can beat the other one. Can we move on with the story? Like the one that preceded this, Superman Returns. That was great. I really enjoyed it. It had Kevin Spade prior to the whole Kevin Spade scenario, but it had Kevin Spade. Was it Kevin Spade? It's not Kevin Spade. It had Kevin Spacey. Sorry, I said Spade. Spacey prior to the whole, Spacey thing, but back when he was great. And he was Lex Luthor, completely different. Don't you think? It was a completely different Lex Luthor. Then, John, who did the Lex Luthor back in the late 80s, 90s? It was Gene Hackman, right? Gene Hackman? Okay. So, Gene Hackman, way different than the Lex Luthor for Kevin Spacey, and even more so different than Jesse Eisenberg. And I'm like, I wouldn't really... Jesse Eisenberg is a good actor. I'm not going to say he's a bad actor. He's a good actor. I really enjoyed him. Jesse Eisenberg in The Social Network. I thought his wit and his dialogue that was smart, funny. I loved that. He was good in Zombieland. Lex Luthor, I don't know, man. You're going up against Gene Hackman for this, and I didn't even, Kevin Spacey wasn't even as great as Gene Hackman. I know it's two very different Luthors. Anyway, I think somebody got off topic. It wasn't me. I was talking about exercise and the elliptical and the program. So anyway, Blacklist, but we got rid of Netflix. So we switched over to this program called we switched over to Hulu, and I was reminded that this program, A Million Little Things, is on Hulu. Have you seen this thing? Have you seen this show? There's a couple of elements in there that I would remove if it were me directing, but I'm not directing. It's not my show. I guess I'm just a viewer and observer. I really like A Million Little Things. If you haven't seen it, the premise is you got a group of guys that meet in an elevator that get stuck. And a couple guys, they kind of start freaking out. You're in an enclosed space. You have zero control. You can't get out. Yeah, that can be an intimidating scenario. Well, one of the guys, John, tries to divert the attention and refocus onto, hey, let's talk about something. If you could have lunch with anybody famous, who would it be? If you could, was that the question he asked? I don't know. Anyway, his idea was, let's divert our attention. Next thing you know, they're working as a friend group. They're starting to go to hockey games together. They're creating these memories together. And I'm like, this is a really good program. Unfortunately, there's one thing John does this thing that really causes, it's literally, I want to say literally. Can we say literally, John? We can't say literally. Figuratively speaking, how's that? A grenade is tossed into the friendship of these men and their spouses and their friends and the relationships, and the whole circle goes a kilt. It's off balance. I mean, just figuratively, boom. And everyone is brought, and this all happens within the season 1, episode 1, and it really draws you in. I believe. And there's just really good dialogue for the most part. It's a great storyline. So I'm really getting into this thing. And I started thinking about, because the program does revolve around relationships, friendships, marriage, family, everything in between. And I'm watching this like, A Million Little Things. There's a million little things with, and they use this phrase. I thought it was coined beautifully. Goes like this. Friendship isn't one big thing. It's a million little things. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? It's not like one big thing. And then, okay, we're all friends here. This is great. I remember going on a mission trip. The mission trip, this is going to be good. We're all together. It's a big thing. And then kind of walked away from that like, I thought we'd be better friends. But we're not. Okay. All right. It's like a lot of little things. It's like, when you're on that mission trip, friendships do get cultivated on a missions trip, but you're not on the mission trip to become friends. But while you are working beside each other, while you're working towards this mission beside each other, those friendships, those bonds begin to adhere. Those bonds begin to form amongst those people beside you in that circle on that mission. If you've ever talked with soldiers that were a part of a company, and not an ABC company, I mean a company overseas, when they're in the heat of battle, when they're alongside each other, in the military, they're working alongside each other. They are on a mission, and they come out like lifelong friends, and nothing crushes that bond. Nothing breaks that bond. It's stronger than the elements around them, because of the situation that they were in beside each other. And that's what this show is all about. I think, that's so good. Can we do that with our own friends? Is it possible that we can accumulate and forge a million little things to build this bond of friendship? Think about marriage for a moment, okay? It's, the thing with marriage, it's not all about the wedding day, the wedding ceremony. Although society would have you believe that a good marriage revolves around a great wedding day. So you got to find that perfect dress. How many shows are about, the perfect dress? Is it just yes to the dress? Or are there other things, John? John doesn't care. Don doesn't care. And I can understand why. So it's not all about the dress. The engagement isn't all about the engagement ring or the engagement party or the gifts that you get. It's about the bond that was formed in that journey prior to, right? You're in this deciding process. They used to call it courting. I don't know what they call it now because there's Tinder, there's all these online dating apps that are less about the people and the relationships and more about the sex and the how quickly can we get to and get beyond. I've been told by millennials that they prefer physical, I would say intimacy. I don't know if I want to use that word because it kind of scrubs the seriousness of the word. They prefer the physical sexual relationship over looking one another in the eye and having a conversation because they believe, and by their own perception, it is less intimate. Yeah, I'm still here. I just wanted to let that soak in for a second. Isn't that weird? I don't know. It's weird for me because 44 years old, intimacy meant something. Talking with one another, it meant something. And I believe that bond is stronger because you are vulnerable with a few people. There's a beautiful scene in the movie Meet Joe Black between Brad Pitt, who plays Joe Black, and Jeffrey Tambor, who plays Quince. Quince is the son-in-law. He's the husband to the daughter of Anthony Hopkins, who owns this huge conglomerate. I think it was a media company. Towards the end of the movie, you got Joe Black and Quince, and they're talking to each other, and they're talking about marriage, and they're talking about that friendship, the bond of marriage. And Brad Pitt's like, "Hey, talk to me about that." And Jeffrey Tambor, playing Quince, he's like, "Well, it's like she knows the worst thing about me, and it's okay." And Brad says, "What's that?" And Jeff says, "No, it's not. It's not one thing. It's the worst things about you. It's everything in your closet, the skeletons in your closet, and it's okay. My wife overlooks all the skeletons in a closet. None of those matter. I can keep them locked up. I can share them. It doesn't matter because she loves me anyway. It's kind of like how Jesus loves you, right? You have all these skeletons in the closet, and he already knows about them, knows them very well, and he loves you anyway. I think that's what a true friend is. It's a friend who knows the worst things about you, the skeletons in your closet, and he doesn't care. He, loves you for who you are. He likes you for who you are. He's a friend to you. It's a spouse to you. Because you're more than your sins. You're more than your past. You're more than your closet. You're more than all that. You have much more potential and possibility than your past. Your future is bigger than your past. Your potential rivals. It overshadows the skeletons in your closet. Doesn't matter if the door's open or closed. And that's the truth. A million little things is about the friendships. And the friends who are, obviously the friends who are closest to you, those are all the ones that can hurt you the most, right? I had this friend I worked beside in the audiovisual tech industry for, I would say like a good year and a half. We met on a fluke over in California, working on a project, and we kind of poked fun at each other. Obviously, I poked more. I do a lot of poking of fun.
Oh, this is true.
I poke fun. If I don't care, if I don't like you, if we're not getting along, if we're not on the same plane, chances are I'm not gonna mock you or make fun of you or make fun with you or joke around with you a lot. I'll try up to it a certain extent, and then I'll just abandon it if it's not going anywhere because I don't know if it's worth my time. Like I said, I'm 44 years old. I don't have that much time left on earth. So do I want to waste my time with somebody who hates me? Probably not. But, we forged a bond and a friendship working together. We would close down restaurants together. We closed down a bar together. And it's not like we were drunk. We were just having so many laughs and sharing stories. And, there's those friends out there that you can do that with. And one fine day, I was expecting some money to come in. And from him, he was the guy I would submit the invoices to. And it never came. And I was trying to follow up, and I felt like I was ghosted, and then finally he returns, and it took me like a good 2 months, and there's still like $1,000 that's outstanding, but I had to let that go, and I figure what friendship is still there hopefully can be repaired, so it doesn't get overshadowed by a debt that he'll pay when he can. When he prioritizes that, he'll pay when he's able to, and otherwise I got to let that go for the sake of the friendship, because the friendship is more important than the debt, and if it's not, then maybe we were never friends to begin with. I don't know. I mean, you could probably flip the coin over and say if the friendship was worth it, then the debt would be paid. Sure, you could say that. I could see that. I want our friendships to be bigger than the money. I hope that's the case. I don't know. I guess it remains to be seen. I don't hate the guy. I'm not mad at the guy. I've forgiven the guy, and I've moved on. I don't know if there's room for friendship in our future or not, but yeah, it's going to be the ones closest to you that can hurt you the most, because the closet's open. They know the skeletons in the closet. They know the demons in your past, and hopefully the friendship is stronger than all of that. But who knows? It's a million little things, right? Friends are the ones that get us through the tough times. Your best friend, your spouse. For me, it's my wife who gets us through those tough times. Kind of the cornerstone in our life. Obviously, Jesus being the cornerstone, but it's because of God that I have Joyce. And it doesn't make her the weaker sex, so don't hear that and don't put words in my mouth. Ha!
How could we fit anything else in mouth with donuts?
This is true. Thanks for pointing that. Why do you even talk? Why are you here?
Because I was told there were chocolate chip cookies.
That's good. Yeah, they're out there. You can pick some up on your way out. They're the ones that get us through the tough times. I remember being in middle school. You remember middle school? Isn't that a time we kind of just like to forget ever existed and move right on? I'd love to, except I'm writing a book, and a portion of my book has to do with my life in middle school, which seemed to be fine, kindergarten through second semester, 8th grade. And that's when another proverbial grenade was thrown right in the midst of my life when the folks decided, hey, we're going to be moving. I'm like, okay, great, let's move. So we pack everything that I've known, not the first time that we moved, but definitely way more devastating than years prior. And we land in a town not too far away from here, about less than 5 hours from here. And I'm going into the middle school, first day, second semester, 8th grade. I knew nothing. And that was evident by the way that I walked and what I was wearing. I came from a small private school. There was like 100, maybe 120 people. That includes staff, administration, executive, and then, of course, the students and the teachers. That's everybody, folks. It's a small private school. It was a good school, though. I got nothing bad to say about that. You had to wear a uniform, which was not like, I had to wear the same blues. I had to wear the same exact clothes every day. I had to wear dress pants, dress shirt, tie, socks, and obviously shoes. No tennis shoes until gym class. But otherwise, that's what I was wearing every day. And I'm like, shoot, really? So that part got tiring. And all my fellow classmates, they kind of disagreed with that. But it did kind of up your level of behavior a few notches than what I experienced in middle school at a public school. And, from then on, I'm walking into this junior high school. And it was a mixture of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. First day, I felt like all the eyes were on me. And they probably weren't, but that was your perception. And how you perceive your world is exactly your world, is it not? I'm walking around first day. It's like, how do you make a mistake on first day? I don't know. Somehow I did. Because the next thing I know, I'm getting criticized for everything, right? I'm getting told how gay I am. I'm getting told how stupid I am, how retarded I am, and this would have been back in like late 88, 89, 1988, 1989, those areas. I mean, heavy criticism every single day. They were writing, drawing markers on papers and putting them in bathrooms, in the guy's bathroom. I'm like, why am I going through this? I hated going to school. I hated it. And that was like a few days into school. I went to a youth group and I met some guys like, oh, this is cool, right? I got some friends. And then I'd go to school and it turns out that these guys were just as bad as those guys. They would, I remember I'm on the playground during lunch, and you eat your lunch as quickly as you can, and then you go outside. It was just a pounding. I mean, the enemy was having a heyday. I walk out, you got your food tray there, and you're trying to find, where's my friends? I don't have any friends. Okay, where's people that I recognize? Don't see any friendly faces. Oh, here's this group. They called me over. Hey, Tom, come on over. So I'm like, okay. So I walk, hey, guys, what's going on? And where are you guys sitting? Oh, no, Tom. You don't want to sit with us. You see those girls over there? And I turn my head. Oh, man, do I ever see those girls over there. Legs and hair and a face and these gorgeous eyes. And oh, yeah, I saw those girls. They were, as life would have it, the most popular girls in school, right? Melissa and Jessica is who they were. And I'm standing there like, oh, yeah. And like, those girls want to have lunch with you. Really? The new guy gets to have lunch with the hottest girls in school? Yeah. All right. Okay. So I start walking over there, like, yeah, go, man. I'm walking over there, and I just felt the eyes of the class. Everybody watching me, like, what am I doing something wrong here? And I'm getting closer. I'm like, wait a minute, this doesn't seem right. And I turn back around to where the guys were, and they're giving me the thumbs up. They're, waving me onward, and, oh, okay. All right, let's do this. Okay. I didn't realize how cool I was. And I get up to the table, and they turn around, and I'm like, yeah, is this seat saved for me? Kind of like you're trying to play it cool, right? I mean, as cool as you can. I barely knew how to talk to girls back then. I barely know how to talk to girls today, let alone back then. I'm better at talking with my wife, gorgeous as she is, intimidating as she is, gracious as she is. Sometimes my words just get fumbled. She is, Anyway, back then to the middle school, and putting my sentences together as best as I can. Is this table saved? Is this seat saved for me? Somebody sitting here? And like, not you. Oh, but those guys said that. This guy said you wanted that I should over here. That you wanted to have that I should sit down. Nope. Oh. I turned around, the guys were laughing their heads off, walking away, running away. There's me. Of course, I heard the girls, oh, poor baby. That was tough. I could have used some friends then. I realized I didn't really have any. At that point, I kind of lost my appetite, so I chucked my food and sat the tray down where the trays go and walked outside of the playground, which you would think, get a little reprieve, get a little breather. Oh, no. The ridicule continues, my friends. So one of the other few, The only other guy that I knew to be a friend from the youth group that we attended called me over. Hey, Tobe, I got something for you. Come on over. I'm like, well, can't get any worse than what it already is. And I go over there, and he's a couple paces away from his friend group. And he's like, hey, I got something for you. What do you think of this? All right. Rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men in a tub. The butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. Get it? Baker in a tub with a couple other guys? I didn't really think it was all that funny. I still don't to this day think it's really all that funny. I don't know. Maybe you're laughing your butt off, and if you are, good for you. That really hurt. That was really tough, and I thought I'd gotten over it. I was at a training conference for youth workers with White Youth for Christ over in the area, and I swung by the old school, and I tried to deal with the past as best as I could, and I thought that I had. The book that I'm writing goes into some detail on the demons of this guy's past. It's kind of a memoir. It's a 90% nonfiction, crossed with a little 10% fiction, dealing with the true story of a former youth worker turned salesman who got fired from a company after his CEO had resigned. And he finds community, friendship, and a little bit of generosity in Jesus in a place where he was told he would probably never enjoy working, called the factory. And he's got to deal with some of the demons from the past, and they creep up, these things from middle school. I've never had it. This is like the toughest thing I've ever had to do, is walk back into that middle school where there were no friends. Walk back into junior high, walk through these very painful stories. Not nearly as painful as what they once were, but when you're faced with dealing, and I can't be the only person. I honestly don't believe that I was. That would be silly and prideful. No, there's other people that have had to face the same thing, that have had to walk through that all over again. And kudos to you for working your way through it. I'm having to do the same thing on my end. You realize that, those people making fun of that guy in the classroom, in the lunchroom, on the playground, they were making fun of that guy, but they would have made fun of anybody. They made fun of everybody. It had more to do with their own demons than it did with the demons of that guy. It had more to do with their own lack of confidence. Because someone who's good in their own spirit, in their heart, and in their body, they don't make fun of other people. They don't have to. It's a matter of, I feel so crappy, I'm going to let you have it so you feel crappy, because misery loves company. I feel so bad, I got such a bad life that I'm going to concern you with mine because you deserve to be just as pitiful and pissed off and upset as I am. That I'm gonna ridicule, I'm gonna make fun of you as hard as I can, because that's how bad my life is. That's how bad their life was. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't see it. But working my way through it, I realized, wait a minute, that wasn't about me. That was about them. That was way more about them and the issues that they were dealing with and trying to overcome and hurdle than it was about me. Didn't matter what I wore or how I walked. I was still made fun of. I got away from it. I decided I'm not going to do lunch anymore. Just hang on to my money. And I went to a teacher's classroom and worked on work and did the best I could to avoid that lunchroom, because it brought so much pain. I didn't know how to deal with it. I had to go home, and my parents, they did their best to help me deal with it. But it's pretty tough helping somebody deal with it. It's even tougher going through it.
But did you die?
No, I didn't. I died a lot a bit on the inside. But I was renewed, man. I was made whole later on, much later. But you work through these things. What is friendship? What was it that I could have used then? A million little things with friendship. Soldiers that stand together and beside each other in battle. That's how dogs become friends. I had a friend contact me, say, hey, can you watch our dog? I'm like, do I want to watch the dog? Okay, I'll watch the dog. All right, bring him on over. I'm like, wait a minute. How do you introduce dogs to each other? Because our dog freaks out at the slightest wind that brings leaves against the door and thinks that someone's coming in to harm us. So he's very protective. He's scaredy cat, but he's very protective. So the same thing's going to happen when my friend's dog comes over. So I'm thinking, okay, how do we do this? Well, the key is they don't meet on the territory belonging to my dog. They meet outside. Obviously, it's our territory, but you get the idea. They meet outside the territory. They meet off premises. So our dog, Cosmo, met her dog. I can't remember the dog's name. So Cosmo meets their dog off premises, and we begin walking the dogs together, side by side. And they're sniffing each other, and they're checking each other out. Hey, can I trust this dog? I don't know. I don't know if I can trust this dog. And after a few blocks and a few more blocks, then, yeah, they're walking beside each other. Then they become, you bring them back on the premises. We come back home. And the dog isn't invading my home. The dog isn't invading the territory belonging to Cosmo. It's like, okay, we're back together. We're on our premises. And, okay, that's how we introduce dogs together. There's some kind of psychological conglomerate coming. They gel. That's what they do. They gel off property. So then when they come in, it's the same way with friends, right? You're meeting a stranger, you gel off property. You work beside each other off property. And when you feel comfortable enough, you guys want to come over for some steaks, some dogs, some what do we do? Oh, man, we made this amazing paleo brownie. Oh, so good. I was like, this is really healthy. It had coconut sugar and almond flour and cocoa powder and deep dark chocolate espresso style chocolate morsels. And it had, no coconut oil in there. There were 3 eggs. Oh, I mean, there was protein and then coconut sugar. Like, this is amazing. I might have to post. I'll post the recipe in the feed on this, but wow. So that was, and I don't know where I was going with this.
That makes 2 of us.
Okay, right. Thanks, John. I remember where I was headed with this. Right, you meet off property, and then like, hey, you want to come over for some dinner? You come over for some brownies. We just found a new recipe. We can love to do some espresso together, and you find out more after you get past that stranger neighbor phase. So I want to do this as a series. We'll probably come out with a couple more podcasts of a million little things, dash marriage, dash fatherhood. And obviously we just did one based on friendship here. But like I said before, I'm certain I'm not the only person who's gone through these things. If I can coach you in any way, if I can help you out, drop me a line at me@tobybaker.life. I'm glad to be of service. If this podcast here brought you any value, if you found any help in this, hey, share this with some other people. I believe there's others out there just like you who would find value from this as well.